Hey folks, how you doing? So, do you like Sudokus, but you're like just tired of them? Like you've got 1,000 of them in a book and you haven't done 1,000 of them, you need a break? Well, step sums is the answer because not only does it have logic, but it also has math. And what we're going to do, this is the level 5. This is like the hardest of the three types. We have a new book. It's on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. And the book looks like this. So this is the whole cover. This is the back cover, the front cover. This is a level 4. This is a level 3. These are easy. These for kids that are trying to learn math and logic, it's super duper. But right now I'm showing one of the level 5s. So let me go back there. And what we're going to do is we're going to solve this real quick. It's like Sudoku in that, well, this has 15 squares. So you have to use the numbers 1 through 15. Can't repeat any of them. That's the thing, like Sudoku. But what's different is this is math too, like this has to add up to 29, so all the rows have to add up to these numbers, and all the columns do too. If we can do that, it's a good day. So let's start that now, and as you notice, there's a couple of them that are really easy. So like here, for example, you know, we've got 29 and I've already got 14, so the only thing that fits here is 15. And the same thing with down here. We need 11. Well, we already have 8, so that's easy. 3. So there's that. But now the question comes up, now what do we do? You know, we can't do anything with this. There's no clues whatsoever. So what do we do? Well, let's just randomly pick something. Let's say that we want to do these two squares. Okay, I like that color. All right, so before we even start, we don't have to solve one of them at a time. Let's try to solve both of them together. And how are we going to do that? Well, first of all, we have to get up to 34. We already have 15 and 4, which makes 19. So that means whatever comes in here has to total 15. And there's only so many combinations. So let's try it. But before we start plugging numbers in, let's think about it logically. What are all the combinations using, say, the numbers 1 through 14 to make 15? Well, we could try 1 and 4, but we really can't because we have a 1 and we have a 14, so we can't use those. Same thing with 2 and 13 because we're using a 2. Well, what about 3 and 12? Nope, because we have a 3. Well, what about 4 and 11? Nope. Can't do it. Can't do a 4 and 11 or an 11 and 4 because we have a 4. Well, what about 5 and 10? Well, so far we're not disqualified, so let's write those down. Let's say one of the possibilities is 5 and 10, but don't forget we could also do 10 and 5 because there's 2 boxes. Now with this, I'm counting 5 and 10 as 5 here and 10 here, and I'm counting 10 and 5 as 10 here and 5 here. Okay? Now there are some other possibilities. Can we do a 6 and a 9? Yeah, because we don't have any of those on here. We can also do a 9 and a 6. I like keeping the bigger numbers starting first on the bottom. This is part of my OCD. Yeah, but don't worry. Don't have no fear. My ADHD totally overpowers it. It's not a contest. But what about 7 and 8? Well, we can't because we have an 8. So basically, we went from not having any idea what to put here to just having these 4 combinations. So let's try it out. I like bigger numbers, so let's do those first. All right, I'm going to put a 10 here, and I'm going to put a 5 here. Now, even though we know math-wise, we've all been watching, that's what it is, let's still, just to be extra careful, count it up. 15 and 10 is 25, 25 and 5 is 30, and 4 is 34. Good, we're golden. Now, if this is correct, I use the word if lightly, then we only have one space here. Let's try to fill that in. Well, we have a 1 and a 5 makes 6, and 3 makes 9. So that means we could do this if we put 17 here, because 17 and 3 makes 20, and 25, 26. Except there's one problem with that. See, you can't use the number 17. You can only use the numbers from 1 to 15, and 15 and 14 are taken. So, okay, scratch this. That's not going to work. So let's get rid of that. Well, let's try 9 and 6, okay? Let's try 9 and 6. You know, and we know it's going to total up to 34. But let's look in this row, okay? Let's look in this row and whoops, let's get rid of the 17 because that wasn't there. It's supposed to be there. Okay. I have a funny feeling we're going to run into the same problem that we had earlier with the 10 and 5. Let's add it up. 1 and 6 is 7 plus 3 is 10. We would have to put a 16 here. It's still too big for this puzzle. So we can't do that. So that's no good, and that's no good, and that's no good. So that's no good. Okay. Well, now we've got it down to 2 possible combinations. But see, guys, that's good. Because now, you know, the light is getting brighter and brighter at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully it's not, you know, Amtrak. Haha. They stole my joke. Okay, well, let's see if this works. Okay, so we have 1 and 9 is 10, and 3 is 13. That's half of 26. So, oh, good, let's write it in. See, this is good now. See, now, you know, maybe we figured it out. Maybe we solved it. Let's keep going. Okay, so now, looking at this column, so now we have 2 and 13 makes 15. Oh, okay. From 21, then we need a 6. Is that going to work? Or do you see a problem? By a show of hands, how many people are seeing a problem? Oh, and if I don't see your hand, wave it. You know I can't see you, right? Okay. Sorry to spoil the fun. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, we can't use 6 because we already have a 6. So that's a problem. But actually, so we have to get rid of all this. But see, it's not really a problem because now what? We only have one possibility left, 5 and 10. So let's go 5 and let's go 10. And get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. Guys, now we can go gangbusters because there's a whole bunch of stuff we can fill in. We're basically going to have everything filled in a minute except for the corners. Yeah, I'm calling these corners. I don't know, like on a fighter jet, those would be the missiles. But anyway, I digress. Well, let's knock out the 18. So we have 5 and 7, so 18 minus 7 would be 11. And there's a 7-11 joke in there somewhere. Okay, good. So far, so good. Do we see any more where there's one box left? I'm liking this one. So we have 26. So 1 and 10 is 11, and 3 is 14. So this must be 12. B12. Isn't that like coboamylum or something? Okay. Anyway, if you're vegan, you need to supplement. I didn't say that. You should never, Dave, you should never say that. I know. My name's not Dave. Okay, so now let's do the 21. So we've got 2 and 12, which is 14. See how we get to use all this fun math? What's 21 minus 14? That would be the number 7. Okay, so now we've got this puppy mostly filled in. We just have to get the 3 corners. The 3 corners of the world. There used to be 4 corners, but you know, then there were layoffs and the economy's terrible. We're down to 3 corners. I don't know. Anyway, so here's the easiest way to do this. Instead of trying to do all this math and impress your friends and everything, let's just count off the ones that are and look to see what's missing. So we have a 1, I see a 2, I see a 3, I see a 4, I see a 5, I see a oh, all right. Well, I don't see a 6. Well, let's put him in. I see a 7. I see an 8. I see a... I'm not really seeing a 9. Okay, so let's put down 9. Okay. I see a 10. I see an 11. I see a 12. I see a... Oh, I don't see a 13. Well, that's our 3, because there's 14 and 15. So now... how are we going to do this? What's the easiest way to do this? Well, there's a couple of ways. You could just brute force the math and make sure it works both ways, but there's an easier way. When you get to this part, there's one thing that has to work, and it's the easiest way to do it, and it's this. Let's take the bottom row. Let's add these puppies up. So we have a 4 and a 7 is 11, and an 8 makes 19. Guys, this is 19 is half of 38. I know before we had a third, but it just happens to be half. So it's going to be easy to remember. We have 19, we need 19. Do any two of these numbers equal 19? Well, there's nothing to match the 9 up with. There's no 10s in it. But 6 and 13, that's a winner. Now, we don't have to do what we did before by saying, all right, let's try 6 and 13. No, all right, let's try 13. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. Because since we know 6 and 13 have to go in these two spots, this one and this one, what do we know about this one? It has to be the 9. So now, we're just down to 6 and 13. And we could play around with math all day long, but why don't we just add up this column? So we've got 9 and 14 is 23. I'm going to do this an easier way in my head. I'm going to add up, instead, let's reset. I'm going to add the 14 and the 11, which makes 25. All right, somebody remember, Joe, you remember 25. There's really nobody named Joe in the audience. Well, there might be. Is your name Joe? Sorry, I didn't mean you. And then 9 and 1 makes 10. So we've got 25 and 10, 35. Easy peasy, right? So 35, so what's 41 minus 35? 6. So anyway, so we put down the 6. I'll tell you why that's blue in a minute. And well, there's only one number left, and that would be 13. So let's get rid of these bad boys. And so guys, it's that easy to solve one of these puzzles. We had to crunch a few numbers and like really think about it, of course. But see, that's how, and I know this is the longest video ever. What can we do to make it longer, Dave? Well, we have a case of turtle wax for turtles. You'd think they would want to use it. Okay, so why is this blue? Because it's to remind myself to tell you about a feature in this book. Because the level 5 puzzles are a little more challenging, what we do is we give you each of the level 5 puzzles twice. There's the puzzles, and then there's the solutions, but in between those there's another section called level 5 hints. And what it does is it gives you all the starter numbers. Here, let me get rid of these guys. I know, just hold the control tab, but I'm too dumb to think about that right now. But you knew enough to make a comment about it. Okay, so let's do this. So this is what the normal puzzle looks like when you first start. But if you want to go to the hint section, it goes, if you want to go to the hint section, it gives you that one extra spot. It won't be blue in the book, it's black, but it's just if you need a boost, you know, to kind of help you out. Here's what I would, so instead of 32 of these in the book, there's really 64 if you think about it. What I would do is I would start with and do all the puzzles that have the hints. And then when you think that by the time you're done, you'll think, oh, it's too easy. Then go back and do the ones without the hint and see how you like those. Alright guys, sorry, I know this was the longest video ever, but it's a level 5 puzzle, so if you're still here, I wish I could tell you you won $1 million. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you like, I forgot to tell you, if you like this video, nobody's going to hit like because it's too long and nobody's here anymore. Who am I talking to? Hey, if you're still at the end, can you put that in the comments? If you like this video, can you put it in the comments? If you think that I'm not that funny, let me know what I can do to improve. Maybe take vitamins. Alright guys, hey, if you look at the book on Amazon, I know you're going to enjoy it. Alright, I think I'm out of material. Time to roll. Bye-bye.